So what I'm going to do is just read this to you guys, and then we'll talk about it. Sound good? All right. So he calls this plate theory. I call it dating non-exclusively, just so that people can understand, have an idea of what it's about. Plate theory is the idea of splitting plates, and he'll talk about it, but it's basically dating non-exclusively. So he starts off, and then it divides it into 5 sections, and the first section we're covering is abundance and scarcity. Now, this is this sort of idea that there's something wrong about game. You got to understand, women are playing a game. Women have big time game, and the first game is to make you think that you shouldn't play game. Whenever a woman says, "I don't play games," you can be sure she's got a whole list of games she's going to play with you. So to think that at 69, oh, you're not going to play games? When a woman tells you she's not going to play games, she's got a stack of games lined up for you. So, and to understand that the games, like this game of delaying texting to see if I will double text or panic or something like that, you got to play it cool. And one thing, if you want to, what's worked with those 5s that you don't want is your disinterest. And they have come after you, right? But when you start, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful. I want to be with you forever," that turns a woman off, right? Play it cool, guys. Play it a little cool. So the idea that somehow game is distasteful, it's not true. Well, maybe it is in some, and some of the games that women play are messed up. But women are experts at playing games, and we're the ones being manipulated by that. And it's important for a man to understand what's actually going on when he's on a date with a woman, and not to believe that somehow we're just going to be honest and she's going to accept us for who you are. No, it's kind of more like a job interview. You better put your best foot forward, you know? So, yeah, so don't think game is necessarily, what we're trying to do is help you understand and meet women, not try and get you to be a player and all that stuff. We're just trying to help you meet women and be successful in meeting women and in having relationships. And to do that, you just got to understand women's dark nature. If you don't think women have a dark nature, go, yeah, go on YouTube. You can watch some of my stuff, but Casey Zander is somebody who will really bring it to you. Orion Taraban is a little less harsh, he tries to be more positive, but Casey Zander is telling you the straight dope about women. So, they're much more resilient than you think. They're much more sophisticated than you think. You think they're sweet, innocent, loving things who can never do you no harm. You are in for a world of hurt if you think that.
Was the last
So,
time any of these guys have been to a health club? I work out at Motion Fitness in Florham Park, New Jersey. I don't know where all you folks are from, but I mean, it is unreal what these women are doing. I like watching the guys watching the girls. That's what I get a kick out of. The way these women dress. I mean, I don't know what they're up to. I mean, they might
right.
as well be butt naked. And then if you glance their way, they're the first ones to accuse you of being a pervert or a creep. I'm like, so like I got to put blinders on just to avoid any kind of accusation. I'm just trying to work out. But these women are
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know what they're up to with
You
all
know
this
what?
nonsense that they're wearing.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I have learned, and I still practice, not looking at women. I will ignore them. I
That's
won't look at them. Right.
exactly when the hot woman walks past me, like her poop doesn't stink. I make a point to look up at the lights.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like that's poison coming my way.
Yeah. Well, one thing I feel is that women who are dressing like that are either one, looking for attention, right? Um, and or the other thing, what was the other thing? Well, they're either looking for attention or they're not going to like it, right? They're either looking for attention or they're not going to like it. So, but either
Instead of
way,
attention, they get pissed at you.
Yeah, and either way, they're never not going to respect you for it. So don't
I
spend
saw this
time
one
looking at
woman.
them.
I mean, she was knock dead gorgeous, and I'm telling you, I was working out on a machine, and I was just watching the guys parade past her, and in 10 minutes, at least three or four guys like made an approach to her,
You
and
know
she it's
what?
like she. I was like, this is unbelievable.
You know what? I go to the gym. I don't see that, Matthew. I go to the gym, and when I see a lot of guys, man, they're not looking, paying their own
No,
mind.
that's what
They,
I saw.
yeah, and I think young men are better than us. They know better than us because it's a lot of the time it's the old men who got their eyes open. Ah, and you just gotta not look. Don't even give them that attention. First of all, if they want attention, don't give it to them. And if they don't like it, you don't want. So you're looking at them. The only thing you can do by looking at it is kind of make a connection here and there. But if you stare at them or look at them too much, they're gonna think you're a creep, you
67
know?
years of work. I work out 3 times a week for my entire life since I'm 12 years old. I have never met a woman or made an approach to a woman at a health club. That's a big mistake. Never, not once.
Well, I met a woman in a health club, and I was in the jacuzzi and she came up and grabbed my penis under the jacuzzi water. So that's a little different story. But and that's the only woman I ever fall in love with. I
That's
thought,
the good
wow,
old days.
this woman really understands me. She gets me. Um, but yeah, nowadays, don't even look. Don't first of all, don't give them the pleasure of attention. And secondly, if they don't like it, they're not going to respect you for it. And let me ask you this, Matthew. I want to see if you know the answer, and anybody else have the answer. What's the most sexiest word you can say to a woman?
You're beautiful.
Nope. Any other? Let's see. Put it in the chat, guys.
The most
What's the
sexiest thing
most
you can say
sexiest
to a
word?
woman?
The most
The most
sexiest
sexiest.
word you can say to a woman. Most
Se-
sexiest.
se- oh, sexiest or sexist?
Sexiest, not
Oh,
sexist,
sexiest.
sexiest. The most
Oh,
sexy
oh,
thing you can say to a woman.
the sexiest thing you
Are
can say to a
you
woman.
are you of age? No, that might be insulting. Don't say that. That's not no. I'm reading the
Not that.
chat now.
No,
Does
the sexiest thing
anybody
you can say
know?
to a woman.
Sexiest
Uh,
word. Sexiest word.
well,
The sexiest word.
sexiest word. Single word.
Single
Hot,
word.
hot. Just tell them they're hot. I don't know.
Nope, nope, that wouldn't be it
There's
too.
something else, huh? Okay.
That would be unsexy.
Okay.
That would be unsexy.
All right.
Have you guys give up yet?
No, you would say
This
no.
no, you got it, Matthew.
Oh.
No. No is the sexiest word you can say to a woman. That will turn her on. No, that means you've had other women as beautiful as me. That means, you are rejecting me. You must be high value. You must
I'm so
have,
smart, weren't I, Rich? Well, I
yes,
am
you
rich,
were smart.
but
Right. Yeah, so no is the sexiest word you can use, you know?
yeah.
So
When I was a young
Uh,
boy, I used to have to beat him up with a stick. Believe it or not, I used to have a head full of curly hair. I had an this roll like this.
uh,
I had to beat the women up with a stick.
well, that was great. That's great for you, Matthew. Man, I was so messed up when I was younger. I had them. Yeah, they screwed me. I got totally traumatized. But anyway, I don't want to go into that. But I'm so happy for you, Matthew. And that's why you got married, and that's why you were married for 30 years. That's an
Well,
accomplishment.
listen. My priority was, and I knew what my wife was when I married her. She's a good woman, a decent woman. It's sort of like investing. I invest in electronically traded funds. I buy and hold. I'm not going
Uh-huh.
to buy. What's Trump's thing? What's it called?
I don't
His
know. I
that
haven't
went public.
followed it.
I'm not buying that crap.
Yeah.
True Social. No, I'm not. I'll short it, but I'm not buying it. Okay. So and my ex-wife was a steady bet. I knew she wasn't gonna be up high. She wasn't gonna be great in bed. She wasn't gonna be terrible. She wasn't gonna be this. She'd be right in the middle, nice steady state. She'd be a good mother. Blah 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 blah. And that's what I went for.
Okay.
Non-exciting one way or the other. To me, my priority was I'm gonna have kids. I'm doing it right. I'm raising my
Hmm.
kids properly. They're my priority. And that's what I did. I spent 30 years prioritizing my children.
Very good.
And
Very
now,
good.
now that's over. My kids are launched. They're healthy, successful. Thank God. Now it's my time. Now it's my turn.
Right. Well, you're working out, and
I'm,
you
I'm
know, you sort of faded away. What did you say?
I work out 3 times a week. I'm very active.
Yeah.
I'm retired. I retired at 62, and I have more activities. So I'm like a professional patient and a camp director. This is what I do for a living now. I go from doctor to
Yeah.
doctor because, if you keep on
Right.
looking, you'll
Right.
find something.
Okay.
And
Well,
I just enjoy myself.
I hope you get some dates. I hope you get some action, you know? Keep it
I
up.
have, I
Yeah.
have, and I met a woman. She's from Taiwan. Very, very interesting. The first Asian woman I've ever dated, and the culture is really remarkably different. And
Yeah.
and I had to say to her, "Look, you're not my supplicant." I mean, because they really do feel that they place men, and I'm not trying to take advantage of her. And I would say to her many times, Ling, listen, you're not my maid. Okay, I
Mhm.
can clear the table just like you can clear the table. It's
Yeah.
I try to be very fair. I'm a nice Jewish boy from Westchester. I'm not taking care. I'm not expecting her to be my housekeeper.
I think that you are on the right track, even though maybe you don't realize for what reason, but your whole thing about, hey, I can't date exclusively at this point. And, it's really, I don't have the time. I assume that if you meet the woman that after you date, maybe you might take this plunge with her, but if not,
Wrote an
and
essay. I have an essay that I wrote called
Mhm.
Ethical Non-Monogamy in a Post-Divorce World. And I say, I want you to read something before we sleep together.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't give them a reading sign. I would say sleep together and then have them read something. But
I say, I'm ethical. I'm not going to trick them. I'm
yeah,
upfront. I'll say, listen, if this is what we're going to do, I want you to understand what it means to me. It could mean something different 6 months from now,
right.
but this is what it means right now. And I explain what I basically just told you guys. I say
You,
even the statistics. So at X number of remaining years, I have to date on a non-exclusive basis if I'm going to ultimately find the person with whom I want to spend the rest of my life. And I have to laugh when they say people are looking for long-term relationships. 67. What do you mean by long-term?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
It's
could be
it's
five
it's like
years.
15 years.
Right?
The reason I'm considering getting married is because I'm 69. I feel that maybe it will work. Maybe we won't. One thing I don't want to be is married at 60 and divorced at 70. That's what I don't want to be.
Well, I'm
But
never getting married again, though. I tell that woman right up front. There's no point. I'm not having children. Why would I get married?
I've never been married. And the only reason I would get married probably, well, one reason I get married is because I've never been married. But the other reason is this woman is in Honduras, if I wanted to come over, if I decide to do that. But that's going to take some time. And in the meantime, I'm going to be dating non-exclusively. My problem
There's
with
no point
there's
to it
an
unless you're
issue.
going to have children. What's the point of getting married?
Yeah, that's a
What is the
good
point?
point. Right, right. Because you think you're going to lock a woman in, right? You think you're going to lock
And
a
if you
woman in.
want to be
No.
a monogamous, if you want to be exclusive, no piece of paper ever written have people absolutely conformed with. Right? I mean, half of marriages end in divorce because for all sorts of reasons. Well, didn't you agree that it was going to be forever until death do you part? Well, you just
No.
violated your agreement.
Right, right.
So I'm
Yeah,
not going to make that bargain anymore
I
because
don't
it
blame
didn't
you.
last until I died.
You're absolutely right. And the other thing
So
you're doing is, right, you are leading the relationship and you are setting the frame in the relationship by doing what you're doing. So I think you're really, even if you don't realize what you're doing right, I think that those two things are helping you to attract these women and keep these women because if you did it differently, they probably maybe stay, maybe not stay. But since you've set the frame and you're leading the relationship, now you're being the man in the relationship.
the dating apps are very unsatisfactory, though. I mean, I'm trying to find a different way to meet women more organically. It's just the dating applications are just absurd. 90% of them are scammers. they're fakes. I don't know what they're up to. They want, oh, can we go to Google Chat? I'm like, well, why? What's the matter with this app? I don't know what they're after. And so I
You
have
mean
a
on
new policy.
Facebook?
Pardon me?
You mean on Facebook and things like that?
Yeah, Facebook, Tinder, and I tried what do you call it? The J date, which
Uh,
yeah, forget that. Doesn't work for me. I don't want. I know we don't. Not talking politics here, but I'm right of center, and most Jewish women are leftists, and so that I say right up front, if you're a liberal, I'm sorry, you're not for me, and I get zero
yeah,
responses on that, so that's a waste of time.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but anyway, there's got to be another way to do this. I mean, I didn't have trouble when I was young, but I was living in a dorm, a co-ed dorm. I had a dozen choices, three doors down.
See, that was great for you. I was so screwed up when I was that age that I was um traumatized, just totally having trouble dealing. I was focused on school and I stayed in school, but I couldn't even go to fraternity parties. I couldn't even go to them. They would trigger PTSD symptoms. Things like strip clubs that
Can you
would
think back
trigger
of any woman who
PTSD.
you've dated who you would have that you think back and say, I would have been happy if I had married her? Can you think of any
No,
woman in all your
actually,
life?
no. My high school sweetheart was really traumatized me in the end. And there was something that happened. I don't want to go into it, but it was terribly traumatizing. She was involved. And so, no, the woman who grabbed my penis under the water, but she was doing all this sort of weird shit. No, you know, I don't think now, have I had long-term relationships? I had a Chinese woman for 23 years. We were in a long-term relationship, I guess. But, I outgrew her. And was she really good? No, it was just, I got lazy. I was in the one, we were not, I wasn't dating non-exclusively at that time. So, she wasn't good for me. And so I had to let that go. I have a friend. You can say I have a relationship. Maybe it's 40 years since junior high school, on and off, but she's really not something that is marriage material. So I think what happened is whenever I was so traumatized that if a woman came up that I thought I could fall in love with, I ran. I got scared and I ran. And so I probably could have been fooling around like you, Matthew, at that time. But I have a completely different experience. Guys who say they may fool around when they're young and now that's not the case with me. I was isolated when I was young. And I'm
Yeah.
still very traumatized and still dealing with my PTSD symptoms. And like I said, things like cabaret shows, strip clubs trigger PTSD symptoms. And one thing I'm going to tell this woman here and any woman is that if we're going to get married, let's just say, I don't want a bachelor party and I don't want you to have a bachelorette party. As far as I'm concerned, those are invitations to cheat. Why would you have sex with another man? Why would you cheat on your fiance the day before the wedding? I just think a marriage is a sham if that's the case. And, I even broke up with a woman because, I told her, I don't want to go to this bachelor party. I don't want you to go to the bachelorette party, and she just blew me off. Men really our right to say no is not respected by women. Women don't give us the opportunity to say no. We're supposed to just, they show their breast or they dress sexy and we're just supposed to go, I went to this mix club. It's half cabaret, half concert. And then, nobody can resist her. And so she goes around flashing every guy in the place. But she doesn't realize that some guys have PTSD and don't want that. I tell her, no, 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 still does it. This is the theme, a disrespect for a man's right to say no. Our right to say no is not really respected. Women can't hear that word, with us. And and they all think men are all the same. Yeah, we all want to go see strippers. Yeah, we all want to go have sex with prostitutes. Oh yeah, we all just want to have sex, but no, that's not the case.
Can I tell you
know,
an interesting story? If I digress, and if I'm again taking too much of the conversation here, just say, Matt, shut up already. When I was in high school, there was this woman named Betsy Shaw. A 10, a not dead gorgeous 10. I mean, model, okay, a model woman. And of course, she didn't want to have anything to do with me, right? Because I was just your average kind of guy. I didn't have a car.
mhm.
Yeah, so what was she doing in ninth grade? She was dating a senior. His name was Buzz. I kid you not, that
Uh-huh.
was his nickname, Buzz. He was driving a Camaro or some fancy car, God knows what. Anyway, so of course, I didn't get the time of day from her. So
Yeah.
20 years later, high school reunion. Okay.
Uh-huh.
You see where this is going?
Yeah.
Who do I see? Betsy Shaw. And I look at her and I look up and down and I say to myself, now there is the drug rehab person, right? If I've ever seen one. Okay. She looked like a worn out tire. I mean, a complete mess. And
Yeah.
and I don't think that fast on my feet sometimes. And she came over to me and she said something to me. She said something to the effect, Matt, I bet you I couldn't give it to you for free now. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was so I was so like taken aback, and I tend to be not have tact anyway. And I
Right.
said, "Yeah, you're right." And I went, "Oh shit, did I just say that?" And in retrospect, I look back and I sort of feel bad for her. And I've come to realize at 67 that being beautiful is probably more of a disadvantage than an advantage. Because
Mhm.
these women, like the women I see at the club, where the guys are coming by her every 10 minutes with propositioning her, or it's like being a wealthy celebrity. You don't know who your friends are. People always want something from you, and you don't know who's real and who's true. And so she fell for that crap, and she's sorry now. And so
Yeah.
I really do think that beautiful women have a. If I had to choose for my daughter to be a 10 or a 5, I would say be a 5.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. I have a date tonight, so I will. It's an hour and a half. We're in. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. And next week we're going to talk about non-exclusivity. So it's but that's the next chapter, non-exclusivity. So sign up.
Well,
You just sign.
that's my first time, and it's interesting. Thank you for sponsoring or proctoring, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and thank you for participating because I definitely need participation. And thank you for that, Matthew. And so to register for these programs, you just go to tinyurl.com/redpillmint.
Well, he's gone. Let's say this president who ordered the military to stage a coup. He's no longer president. He wasn't impeached. He couldn't be impeached. But he ordered the military to stage a coup, and you're saying that's an official act.
I think it would depend.
That's immune.
I think it would depend on the circumstances whether it was an official act. If it were an official act, again, he would have to be impeached.
Well, what does that mean, depend on the circumstances? He was the president. He is the commander-in-chief. He talks to his generals all the time, and he told the generals, I don't feel like leaving office. I want to stage a coup. Is that immune?
If it's an official act, there needs to be impeachment and conviction beforehand because the framers viewed that kind of
If it's an official act, is it an official act?
If it's an official act, it's impeachment.
Is it an official act?
On the way you've described that hypothetical, it could well be. I just don't know. You'd have to, again, it's a fact-specific, context-specific determination.
That answer sounds to me as though it's like, yeah, under my test, it's an official act, but that sure sounds bad, doesn't it?